So now we're getting to the stage where we've received a lot of questions on this. So I'll spend some time on this, compensation. Early stage startup companies get no cash or have almost no cash for advisors, and oftentimes offer stock options and stock. Common stock is desirable, of course, from a tax standpoint. And if you are involved in a zero stage as an advisor, you may be able to get common stock as opposed to stock options, in part because the company has not formed a stock pool yet. The company may not even be at a zero stage, may not even be incorporated. So, stock is an interesting vehicle for compensation because of the high risk factors and the attractiveness of purchasing stock at a very at a fraction of a cent, as opposed to at subsequent stages where the stock becomes more valuable. Just following this stock option column for a second, in subsequent stages, especially seed stages, advisors come on at a 0.25% or as much as 2%. Those kind of advisors are doing almost full-time work with the company. I know of a bunch of companies that have engaged advisors who are able to do full-time work based on stock options and are willing to work with the company based on stock options as opposed to getting cash compensation. It's only at later stages that advisors are able to get cash compensation when there's sufficient cash to get that, and oftentimes get cash compensation in combination with stock options so that the advisor can enjoy the upside as well as cover their expenses with cash compensation. But at later stages, typically, there is no common stock available for unless they purchase it as an investor in those rounds. And typically at Series B, C, D, and pre-IPO, purchasing common stock is very expensive. So what we see is that obviously over time, the stock option compensation diminishes significantly, especially around Series A and Series B, D, et cetera. And after a period of time, the stock option compensation, especially pre-IPO and based on a special project, are oftentimes quite small. So this is something that CEOs know. These kind of formulas are fairly standard. This is basically what market supports. These ranges are based on scope of advisory services, but they're also based on the need and the experience of advisors. So, so your mileage will vary, as they say. Advisors can get a lot of compensation, especially if they have a lot of experience, and they may get very targeted compensation because they have specialized experience. And then also, as you can see, these advisory engagements can vary in terms of the mix and the amount of stock that is allocated for any given individual. What's very important also, I might add, is you get tax advice on these options or stock. I haven't even mentioned warrants in there. Warrants are sometimes allocated to advisors. Whatever the vehicle, my advice to you is get tax advice and, of course, legal advice when you do these engagements.